Black Delegates podcast. Today's date is March the 18th, 2019. We're on episode 54. 54. I got a bet with another podcast. They are on episode 97, but they put out shows so slowly that I said we could beat them to 100. So we're going to try to do that.
Not to 100.
Yeah, we can beat them to 100, man. I think they like a twice annual podcast now. Shout out to Toy
like
Detox.
40 years.
Yeah.
Well,
no, they were going strong for a long time, and then life popped up, and now they just do other things. Pretty much. So I got online with me, the world's greatest athlete, never lost a game in his life, never saw a shot he didn't like. Ghetto Phenom, what's good, man?
That's facts. Much obliged, much obliged. It's all facts.
We don't get the little bird call or whatever it was from last time.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It's all gone.
Man, I had another one that was all prepared and ready, and then right when we started, I forgot it. Like I couldn't recreate. So I was like, all right, we'll have, if it comes back to me, then I'll bring it to in the show. But I don't want to go with last week. We're gonna test out some different things over the next couple weeks. So I'll remember it or I'll come up with something else. But right now, we're just going in normal.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah. So the call sign is trash if you can't remember it.
When you think of it, just start calling it out randomly during the podcast. That'll make it even funnier.
Yo.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. And the man who would win all the money in Jeopardy if every category was about porn, Box Wine Poppy.
100%. Oh, I'm not losing that category. ever. Yo, what's up, man? I'm doing good, fellas.
Been training for that his whole life.
Man, look, if I ever see that pop up on Jeopardy one day, look, I'll be like, oh man, why is it not the episode I'm on?
Yeah, I thought about that because if you listen to Joe Budden, they was talking about their little thing that they had to do on stage, just naming different categories within those types of movies, and I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, they only came up with like 2 out. Man, I'd be like 15 deep, 25.
Yeah. All right. So let's see how y'all weeks been. I'm gonna just skip mine because my week was uneventful outside of anniversary. So me and my wife had an anniversary, 7 years. So we hit 7. I only promised her 50. I only promised her 50 years. So she got 43 more. Then we can talk about the re-up.
Then you get the hall pass. Then you get
yeah. Then we can make our decision whether or not we want to stay together. But
man.
By then.
Well, congratulations, man. That's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Man, he tried to breeze over it though. Like, my week, it was nothing happened, just anniversary. You see how he do you, Miss Black Ryan. He just breezed right over you.
I just forgot. Then he came back to me. I'm old. All right, so Box Wine Poppy, how was your week?
Man, my weekend was trash, man. Same as yours, man. Just hanging out. I didn't do anything special, nothing special at work, nothing crazy at work, nothing like that. Just no news is good news. I did my taxes, or at least started on them, and then I saw how much I'm gonna owe, and then I was like, I'm just gonna close this. I'm gonna close this browser out for a little while, and I'm gonna come back to this April 14th. So
that's exactly what I did. So my wife was like, "So how much we get back?" I was like, "I ain't messing with that till April."
So yo. So I'm not getting anything back. So I'm like, I'm trying to figure out a master plan between now and April 14th. That's my plan. If you want to Cash App me, go ahead and do that. Box Wine Poppy at Cash App. I don't have it set up yet, but I'm gonna have it set up soon.
I ain't got it set up yet.
Man, I don't know. It seemed like a lot of people saying that they owe. I don't know.
Oh man, yeah, no, a lot of people owe. Yeah,
so calculations.
They changed around so much stuff from last year to this year. So yeah, I think it's down for a lot of people, man. So I think a lot of people are going to owe this year. I know I definitely do. It's the first time. I think this is the first time. Maybe the second time I've ever owed, and the last time it was just a small amount. This is, I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it's definitely like some of them I'm gonna notice. So and I don't like paying out anything. So yeah, I got to wrap my mind around that. But I got a month to figure it out, so I'm cool.
Yeah, they took less tax money out your check. But they didn't really change how much you actually owe. So instead of getting that refund, you're getting that bill.
Yep. But it's
So
gonna be
notice.
interesting, man, because it's gonna impact, like a lot of people this time. Ryan, you remember the commercials you see back in the day, hey, it's all good. Bring your tax refund, come get your new car, stuff like that. I think all that stuff's not gonna be down this year, man. People do a lot of shopping around this time, once they get their little check and stuff like that. So
I noticed that people are not balling out this year. The Facebook groups is dry. People ain't just buying stuff. My eBay is not popping right now. This mug is dead. And it's usually dead only for January, right after Christmas, and then it gets back to normal, and then you sell a lot up until right after tax time. But nothing.
you
Yeah,
hear
but
it,
you
It's
know
slow.
that shutdown pushed stuff back. So a
You
lot of
think so?
people who are getting refunds, again, a lot of people going, oh, but some of the people who ain't got it back yet because the government shut down.
Um,
might be true, but hey, you
I
heard it
thought
here first,
IRS wasn't
economists.
affected.
What'd you
Yeah,
say?
that's just collecting taxes, but that he's talking about getting your
Right,
paycheck.
processing and getting that bread back to you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought they just said it wasn't affected. Period.
Mm-mm.
No, no, no.
Okay.
They definitely held people's paychecks up for a while. That's what basically ended it because the people were getting paid and they were getting ready to walk off the job, and that was going to be a big problem for people.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So, what about you, Ghetto Phenom? How was your week?
My week was pretty solid. Since you introduced me as the greatest athlete of all time, I
Here
guess
it
I'll go
comes.
ahead
Here
and
it
tell
comes.
an
Right.
athletic story. I told y'all, got in this little basketball league on Sundays, and I'm definitely the oldest guy on the team by far. I think the next oldest guy may be 29 or so. Y'all know I hit the 4-0 back in November. But as each week has progressed, I've gotten better and better. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for my team. So we look like the bad news bears out there. And I don't take too much shame about it. It's a team I just kind of jumped on. But I mean, we got smacked this past week. I tried to, Ryan said many times on the show, I'm a shoot first guy. If I'm open, I'm taking a shot. But I was like, this game, let me try to swing the ball, get everybody involved because
Swing the
people were having
ball.
issues in the past. So the first half, I really didn't shoot. I think maybe I shot twice in the first half. I'm just trying to pass the ball. And we were down by like 25. So second half, said, I'm chucking the rock. If I'm open,
Kobe,
I'm struggling.
Mamba.
Absolutely. And so had an excellent second half, but the team, we ended up getting smacked. I guess the highlight or maybe the low light of the game, Paul, I know you always like to hear of the bad athletic moments, so I got one for you. So as we're losing by, I don't know, 40 points, winding down the game, towards the last minute, they tried to shoot a three. I got the rebound. I'm racing down the court. Everybody else has stopped playing because it's literally the last 30 seconds of the game. And I'm like, okay, I'm 40 years old. I haven't got my 40-year-old dunk yet. I told you my goal was to dunk until I'm 40. And I
Oh
have
no.
not even really attempted to dunk since I've been 40. So I'm like, okay, this is a game too. So this is a game dunk. So I'm driving down. Actually, one dude was running kind of behind me, and then he saw what time it was. So about at half court, he just stopped. So I'm dribbling down the court. I go up, and this was my problem because actually I got up at a decent height level, but instead of my 40-year-old brain thinking that my calves are also 40, my 40-year-old brain was thinking that my calves were still like 28. So when I went up in the air, instead of just doing a simple dunk, I cocked it all the way back.
Oh
Maybe not
no.
all the way back, but I cocked it at least 3/4 back. And so when I tried to bring it forward and dunk, I missed it. Came up short. The ball bounced out of bounds. It was like 30 seconds left, but we was getting beat so bad the ref just blew the whistle. The game was over. So then to make it worse, since Paul loves to hear about my failures,
I
you know,
do. I
I,
do.
I felt like, you know what? I was like, I know I was up there. I could have dunked it. So I said, let me get this ball back and dunk real quick just to prove to myself that I can. So I grabbed the ball. The game's over already. Everybody's shaking hands and walking up. Grabbed the ball. I, ran to about the free throw line, dribble, took off, hung myself again.
Oh,
And not only did I hang myself again, but now
what?
my forearm is hurting. I think I done sprained my forearm, missing a dunk at the end of a game that we lost by like 45. So
That sounds like the Lakers' last game with LeBron.
exactly.
Word.
I was like LeBron, except I didn't have that little pose where I'm on my knees with my head down and everybody laughing at me.
Now, did you have any moment of clarity when you were as you were elevating through, soaring, with "I Believe I Can Fly," instrumental in the background? I know you can't play the lyrics because that's problematic now, but
Right,
just
right.
in the background. But did you have a moment of clarity, like, hey, maybe I should just go ahead and just do the mailman, or maybe I should just do it, just change this into a layup real quick, or what?
No, because I just felt like a good jump. Like I felt like, oh, this is money. There was no time where I felt like bail out. I felt like it's all good. It's a go. And then when I tried to hammer it down, it just didn't go down.
Kind of like how it is in my dreams when I be hooping.
45 points, though, man. That's crazy. Like they don't have like a mercy rule in this league or nothing like that.
Not really. I mean, I think
Grown
it's
people, man. They
the
pay money
mercy.
for
Yeah, the mercy rules like in the last minute. If you're getting blown out, they'll stop it with whatever 30 seconds left or something like that. So,
that's
uh, and and it probably was the best team in the league. And the biggest issue was they were running a 2-3 zone, and I think a lot of guys on my team haven't really played organized ball for real. So
Mm,
people just had no idea to do with that zone.
yeah.
So, but
The
it's
zone be
fun for
getting you,
me.
man.
I'm the old guy. I'm like, let me get up and down the court. I took a charge for the second game in a row. I'm getting rebounds. So I feel good just being out there and feeling like I'm back in shape. I'm back. My game is pretty solid right now, on a competitive level, straight, real games. But that team, yeah, we're gonna have to do something different.
do
You gonna
this
break?
word
You
for
gonna blow it
word.
up like LeBron? You gonna trade it? You gonna trade the whole team off?
Yeah, I'm gonna just sign. I was talking to the team after. I'm like, yo, next season, holla at your boy. I just dropped 20 and a half. Y'all need somebody. So I'm gonna go KD on him. I'm gonna find a championship team, and I'm gonna sign as a free agent there.
Gunner for hire, Lou Williams style right there,
Right.
man.
That's always been the case.
Right.
All right, all right. Well, good to hear, man. I guess. So you still gotta, man. You running out of time for this last 40-year-old dunk.
No, no, I'm good. I'm good. Once, I gotta ice the forearm a little bit, but I'm good because the jump felt fine. It was the end of the game. If I would have had that opportunity near the front of the game, it would have went down. So I'm optimistic. It's going down. It's going down in the league game.
You
Mark
got
my
to try to
words.
get the. This is what you got to do. You got to get the dunk in like the first few minutes of the game while you fresh.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
I
the
just
Your
problem is
said.
legs
See,
ain't
everybody else
got
you're
gonna
all
be
not
day.
fresh
listening.
too.
That's what I just said, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
I'm
I
just
started reading, trying to figure out how I can go into this next topic.
It should be pretty easy.
but
Speaking of
yeah.
not listening, let's go to Paul with his story.
Yo, yeah, man. That's why
Awkward.
I thought it was gonna be really easy because I was looking at it. I was like, well, this is my story. So what is he talking about? But yeah, man, let's get into the story everybody's been talking about this week, the college admissions scandal, man. What have y'all? We don't need to break it down because we've all heard about it. A bunch of basically a dude mastermind a plot where basically you pay a bunch of money to this dude. He's gonna get some administrators at these prestigious schools to let your kids in. Some people even paid up to like $6.5 million, which is insane to get their kid into school, which I can't believe, but I guess that happened. And it wrapped up a bunch of celebrities, a couple of like famous actresses in there. And so just want to get y'all's thoughts on this.
Dude, you gotta be hella dumb if it costs 6.5 million to get you in anywhere. Like
Word.
I would think that, 50,000 to the right person, they're gonna be like, cool. But if they like no up until you get to 6.5 million, like you stupid in a mug.
They try to get into good schools though. They ain't trying to get into UMSL.
Still 6.5 million, really?
But some of the schools
To get
weren't
into
like
like Stanford or something, yeah.
no, some of the schools weren't that man. The schools were like mostly it was like UCLA, USC.
But
They
that's
had
a
Wake Forest in there. They had Yale, which is probably the most prestigious school, but I don't think they had like any Harvard or Stanford. It was like Texas, University of Texas. I mean they're good schools. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like it can't be no harder than like Mizzou or something.
yes, they are. I guarantee you. Everybody want to go to those schools.
how I mean, but Mizzou is the state school for the whole state. It's just like Texas, is the state school for Texas. So I mean, people
Well,
want to.
come on. You want to go to UCLA or you want to go to Mizzou? Like it's different. We don't
Missouri.
want to go to Missouri.
But we talk about people that live out there in that state. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to get preference anyway because they in state probably, right?
Maybe.
But
And I think they just gonna take the best.
the point is it wasn't all Harvard and like
No.
Dartmouth. It was like like okay, you a person, if you got decent grades, you can probably get into USC. It can't be that hard, right? It's not like
That's
it's
because
like,
those kids are regular kids, so they're not even looking at those real Ivy League schools. But man, I mean I understand, and this is one of those situations where this has been the issue with college always is that we know based on your resume, whatever your college says is going to determine what job you get, how much money you make, because nobody ever looks at your transcripts except for me because I'm black. So I did have someone ask my transcripts one time, but other than that, no, nobody's going to ask. If you say you went to MIT or a Stanford or a Yale or some school like that, you're going to automatically be the boss when you come in the door. And that's just how it is. So yeah, it might be worth 6.5 million. I don't know why you're paying that, and you could just give your kid 6.5. But okay.
I don't understand why they just didn't give the school that. I mean, don't the schools just like you give the school 6.5 million to build for a building or something like that? They ain't gonna just put your kid in there. I thought that's how it works. I mean, we know that's kind of how it already works. But maybe the
these are
money's higher than
people,
that.
and this is also the people that got caught. So think about the people that didn't get caught, like the real ballers. Like I guarantee they putting some real money into real schools and real people cheating on people's SATs.
Word.
Yeah, well, my issue with what you had to say, Ryan, you said that it depends on what school these people go to as far as whether they're going to be the boss, how successful they're going to be. And I think that's just flat out wrong.
Really?
And the reason is because the families that you're talking about in these cases that were publicized, we're not talking about your family, my family, or even Box Wine Poppy's family, right? We're not talking about middle class folks. We're talking about rich folks. We're talking about celebrities. We're talking about people with clout. And what do they say about the job market in America? It's about who you know more than it is about what you know. So if your family already has clout, if your family name has prestige, if your family has money, you're going to be able to get those opportunities regardless of what school you go to. So for me, this situation is about parents not wanting to be embarrassed. Like if their kid wants to go to UCLA, but maybe don't have the grades, the parent doesn't want to be embarrassed, so they're going to pay the way. Or if the kid doesn't want to go to school, whatever. This is all just about image more so than about success. Because if your family got $50 million, it don't matter what college you go to, you are able to be on a path to success.
Yeah. My thing is like it's just amazing to me like I just don't get like we're making this a big story. It's like 50 people or it's like 50 people, nationwide that did this, paid tons of money. But we know the system's corrupt. Like we know that this stuff was kind of going on anyway. Like we know it's all rigged. Just like, if you're middle class, maybe you can afford a few things to test prep. But man, you look at some of these schools and how they want you to be like on these real like exotic, I'm pretty sure that's what Ish is doing. All this like archery and like axe throwing. That's all to get on a resume to get in some Ivy League school.
You think Ish puts all his extracurriculars on his resume still?
100%. Because look, white people look at that.
For Harvard, bro.
Listen, look, when Ish puts that resume in and some white person reads that and says axe thrower, gold medal in some sport that nobody's ever heard of, like that.
They got to bring you in at least for an interview.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this scam was. It was just people using like fake, getting like the rowing coach at USC to say some girls were rowing on the rowing team or recruits for rowing, and they never rowed in their lives, and that's how they got on because nobody's even checking up on that program to see like, okay, well, this guy says he's got bringing 20 recruits this year, and we're going to give them a mission because he says they're okay, and then and that's it. And they're just like, okay, but. These little sport. If your parents can afford to even put you on those teams in high school, just if you're just a decent athlete at all, and then you're on the rowing team, you're gonna get a chance. If you're a black kid and your parents can afford to pay for golf, I guarantee you'll probably get a golf scholarship somewhere. I'm not saying it's gonna be a big school, but it'd probably be something like Division III. You could do that if you got the money to afford that.
A lot of them, it wasn't even that serious because the kids didn't even play the sports. Like the kid would
Yeah,
never
yeah,
play a sport in their life, and they would just be like, "Here, take a picture of you in a canoe.
yeah.
Now we gonna
Word.
send this in, say you on the rowing team." And when the kid gets there, they never go to rowing practice. They're never a part of the team. They just get there, and the coach basically marks off that they quit, and they just forget about it.
Right,
So
but my point is that like people that are like have means, even if you're like upper middle class and you can afford to put your kids in these sports, really put your kids in the sports in high school, you're gonna have a competitive advantage when you apply to college
right,
because they're looking for these kids and they're looking for all these like, okay, what else on their resume can we say, oh, this is good, and even if you're not like gonna go scholarship for like rowing, but if you're doing those things and your parents can afford to like buy that equipment, all that stuff that costs a lot of money, and it's gonna pump up your resume. Whereas the poor kid that okay, like the high school I went to, all we had was football, baseball, basketball, and maybe like track and a couple of things. Man, in our track team, I was on the track team. We had one hurdle. Somebody stole all our hurdles. We had one hurdle, yo.
Y'all just had to keep running around in the circle.
We had one. No, we had one hurdle and a girl, and like I mean, it was funny. They wrote an article about our girl, Hispanic girl in my class, and she won like states in hurdles, and we only had one. And they wrote an article about how we only had one hurdle, and so finally somebody donated us a bunch of hurdles because somebody stole them all. But like, I mean,
Why would you
that's
steal
just
a
facts.
hurdle? Why would
But
you
like,
steal a hurdle?
but the point is not to say men's volleyball, golf. We didn't have none of that mess. But if somebody else, some other school did, if your family's in that school district and then can afford the equipment, you get a leg up on some of these things, right? Some of these experiences and things like that.
You underestimating the whackness of whiteness, though.
that,
Because the sports that we look at and be like, oh yeah, like we'll be automatically good at it if we did that. That's not the case with them. Like they've been trying for years and they still suck at it. So, like being a minority, like you automatically are just good at sports for the most part.
But I'm
So
saying
that
if your
means
parents can afford the equipment or push you down that line, that's free college, for people.
hey, but if you
That's a
suck,
big fact
they
nowadays.
still don't want you. You still got to say that that person is good though, and that's what the guy
well,
was doing.
unless you got that donation, right? Unless you got that money,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and he's
it
putting the
make you
money
look
on
a
it.
lot better.
And then in a rebuttal to what Ishmael said. So I'm gonna say
Uh-oh.
that they are E and D list celebrities. Pretty far down the list there for Full House lady. I don't even know this lady's name. I barely remember. I was like, is that the lady from Full House? I'm not sure. Until the news said it was the lady from Full House. So they're pretty far down the totem pole, man. So you're not gonna really get no recognition where they'd be like, oh, whose daughter are you? And you'd be like, oh yeah, the chick from Full House. Oh, I loved her. They're not gonna say that.
Nah,
So you're
maybe
not
in
But
the
yo,
Midwest,
did
in
you hear about what
Missouri,
you? Go ahead.
but if you out there in
you see how
Cali,
they
you know who they are.
But
no,
yo,
no,
did you
they
hear?
would be so
Did you
low
hear
on the
about the
totem.
girl though? So when all this when the story was breaking, she was on spring break and she was on a yacht down in the Caribbean with the
With the
on
president's family, right?
the daughter of the board of trustees of
President
USC.
of the
Of the
Yeah,
school. Oh,
university,
okay.
right?
so so
Wow.
obviously being the daughter of somebody like the eighth character off Full House still does pay, and I
Right.
think
You
her
got weight.
dad is like a he's like a big like clothing designer or fashion designer, something like that, or some interior decorator, something like that. Massimo or whatever it is. I've seen those clothes and stuff like that. I guess he's the guy that put all that stuff together. So he's got to have something. So she's probably making a decent amount of money, but it's probably the husband that's pulling in the big bank there. So
Yep.
they
So
connected, man.
yeah, I thought it was interesting that it was news because, like Paul was saying before, we all know this has been going down forever. It's really the way that colleges work. It's crazy to me that parents, again, would pay so much money for just these regular schools like that. But like I said, I think it's just more about status and not wanting to be embarrassed. But hey, they broke the law. Lock
That's
them
right.
up. Y'all locking up black folks for using their grandmama address. Go and lock up these celebrities too.
Right,
Look,
right.
all I know is my mom. Look, my mom barely want to pay the tuition, the room and board. She she was not paying anything extra. She barely wanted to
Yeah,
buy
man.
books.
That's crazy.
You know.
Yeah.
Yo, and Paul, I will say also, you talked about your high school with one hurdle. Our high school had no track. We had a dirt track. Won 3 state track championships in a row.
Straight gravel out there for
Right.
4 years.
Running on the dirt. Now they got a new
Man,
fancy track.
Right. We ain't
put
had
in
that
no
little
work.
we ain't had that little stopper at the front of the shot put thing either.
Right.
All the other schools we go to, they had the little stopper there that you supposed to, so you know where to throw from. We ain't
All
had
right,
that.
well, I'm gonna top you on this one. So high school, sophomore year, freshman year, like so we had a shooting at one of our football games, and so then nobody wanted to come play, so we had to forfeit all the games for the rest of that year. I think it was like three, 4 games left. The next year they wouldn't let us play at home at all. They basically closed down that old stadium and they basically made us play on the road the entire year or neutral sites. So we'd go to we go to like a neutral site to play another team. We didn't have a home game. Then they built us a new stadium just out in the middle near the school, which is like the old stadium was like really nice looking. It was like sat down like in a bowl. It was cool. And they give us like this just playing with like rented bleachers. And they put like a garbage track, man. And I remember like our track coach was like, this is just like they just basically gave us a track, which is like the cheapest track. It was made of like old rubber tires or something like that. And that's what we had,
At
man.
least y'all had that. We had
Right.
gravel.
Like
But
we
yo, man, so we had
literally
to,
ran on dirt, fam. Like literally just
yeah.
dirt around the football field.
Well, hey, we didn't even have a stadium for a whole year and a half, so it's all
This
good, man.
dude
But
talking
yeah,
about stadium. We ain't had no
Stadiums.
stadium.
well, stay. I
And
mean, okay,
we didn't even
field,
have home
field.
track meet.
Right.
No, we never had a home track meet because we didn't have a track.
Struggle. Hey, the struggle's real, man. People,
Hey,
people,
right,
people in
right.
USC can't. The people that go that are doing this cheating scandal, they can't really relate to the hardships other schools go through.
Not at all, not at all. And speaking of school scandals, we're gonna go from one school scandal to another school
Oh
scandal.
no.
But a school scandal of a different hue. So this one is from the Chapel School in it says at the Village Lutheran Church in Bronxville, New York. Bronxville. I always got to shout out New York, greatest place on earth. Not.
Yeah.
Where a fifth grade
You're amazing.
teacher was accused of holding a mock slave auction. Where the white students at the private school were urged to bid on the black classmates. And this teacher was, of course, sent home on indefinite leave. Not terminated, but indefinite leave. Did y'all get a chance to take a look at this here story, and what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, sadly, I think we've seen this. This isn't the first time we've seen this story, or stories like this, where you have these instructors that want to, when they talk about slavery, they want to do something and just get too extra and try to either auction off or try to, set bid prices or whatever, or have the black kids act
get
like
the
the
whip
slave.
out.
Right, right. Get the whip out. Like, go ahead, Timmy. Whoop
Take your
Jethro.
shirt off.
Whoop Junebug.
Jethro.
Yeah, I'm tripping on that. Whip Junebug. Go ahead. So yeah, I'm not. It doesn't even surprise me anymore. I mean, this is a private school in Bronxville, but
Yeah, Bronxville is. I know a little bit about this area. Bronxville is a little bit north of the city. It's in like Westchester County. It's filthy, filthy. This is big money out here. Big money. These are like like hedge fund dudes living out here, like $1 million homes. But this is big money out here. So I'm guessing there's not a lot of black people that live in the community. So they probably found like the one black kid in the class at this
Yeah,
private
probably.
school, which
In the
I'm
whole
reading. It
school.
says, yeah, I'm reading this says the tuition is 14,000 a year, something like that. So yeah, I'm guessing there's not a whole lot of
that's not
minorities
even
in the school.
crazy. That's not bad at all, actually.
Right. It's like almost Lutheran North.
Yeah, that's
Nowadays.
a
Now that's
bargain.
crazy
Like,
right
hey, I
there.
need to send some kids
In
out
New
there.
York. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm guessing there are not too many minorities out there. But yeah, man, it's just I don't know. I guess I see where she was trying to go with it. Trying to I guess make a lesson about it. But it's just like you don't need to go this far with it, and just consider like how it's going to look when the newspaper article eventually comes out, and that's the problem.
The lady did say that her son, who was involved in this, she was very shaken. She had said her son was humiliated. I'm curious, how much did they bid on this brother? Was he upset because of what
Oh man, look,
he thought? Did he think he was going to get more? I don't
two
know.
square pizzas and like a thing of chocolate milk, and that was it.
Yeah, maybe that's how it was. I don't know if they were just like $2, $3, and he was just like, what? At least 4 or 5. But yeah, man, it's crazy out here, and like I always say, it's another shot across the bow. So the racist people got to say, "Hey, we still out here." And I thought it was funny that
But do you think she's racist, or
school
do you
is
think
just
she was?
investigating. They're just
But do you think
investigating.
she's? Do you think she's really racist, or do you think she's just an idiot that's misguided? Was trying to
Yes,
like.
yeah, she's racist. There's absolutely no reason to do that. It's just not.
I don't know. I mean, I need more information. I don't think it necessarily means that she's racist. She could, like Paul suggested, be clueless and
Oh,
just
stop.
I mean, if you if
No.
you have no well, the thing is, if you don't hang
It just
around
ended.
any black people whatsoever and you just don't that you're just not aware. That's why I
You don't
always
have
talk
the
about.
internet. You don't have a TV. You don't have a cafe. You don't have friends. You don't talk to anybody to see all this racist stuff that's going on in the world.
Well, I mean, the
The
big
only
thing
way.
is, I always talk about you got to have representation. If there's any other black staff member, I don't care. It don't even have to be another teacher. It could have been secretary. It could have been somebody watering the plants. It could have been the person doing the stocks and bonds and investments for the school, whatever. Any black person that sees this is going to tell them, look, like that's out of bounds. That's not a good look.
Take
But
it. Here
if
go the
you don't have
conversation. So the conversation would be, Mr. Phenom, I was thinking about something. I'm thinking about having a slave auction next. I think the kids could really
Now
get
hear
something
me
out of
out.
this. There's so much value to it. They'll know how people felt when they were getting auctioned off. The white kids will know the power that they had in their hands. I think it's a good idea.
I don't even think it would be that deep, but I think if you get in those situations where if you're in a school, if you're the only black teacher or if you're the only black professional there, the white people are going to come ask you about black stuff because if they don't know any, they're going to ask you. So they will come and ask you something about that. Or
Mm.
if it's something that happens in pop culture with a black celebrity, they're going to come ask you
Has
because
Mrs. Phenom been asked about a slave auction?
I don't know if she's been asked about a slave auction, but she is one of very few at her gig, and that's why I'm telling you from her tales that I've heard from the side. People come to her all the time when it's Black History Month. They go to
Word.
her like, "Hey, we need to do this Black History Month billboard. Can you do that?" And that's not her job. That's not what
Uh,
she's doing at all.
do you
Anything
know any
black,
black
they go to
people?
her.
That's what they say.
But
You know
see,
any
Basically.
that's
black people?
but see also just it is early March. That's what this story coming out that makes me think that. I mean, I think
This is Black History Month, I'm sure.
it was probably for Black History Month. She was trying to do something for
Right.
because she says her lawyers are saying that she was trying to emphasize the tragic injustice of slavery. I think it was just I think her heart was probably in the right place. It's just she just like it's just saying she's not around these people. She doesn't understand the sensitivity issue, and she didn't. She should have talked to somebody else and said like, "Hey, does this sound like a good look?" And anybody with some common sense would hopefully have said like, "Maybe not. Let's pass on
So,
that."
so did she do a Jewish reenactment for the Holocaust? Did she do that? Did she have them
Yeah,
stand
she
in
got
ovens?
yeah
Did
man.
she
She
put
she
them in
got
pretend ovens and pretend that they were
She's
dying? No, she
she took
didn't.
them to the
Paul.
She
nearest pizza
didn't. She
kitchen,
didn't
and she
because you only do that to black people. You never do that to any other race.
but there is no Holocaust month. That's the problem. They
Doesn't
got a
matter.
whole Black History Month.
We talk about it all year. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. But if you want to take them to the pizza kitchen and pretend to throw them in the oven, okay. I guess you want to teach that lesson. You do that. You
They would
down that
never
hill,
do
Ron.
that. Never do it because they would be appalled. And if you even brought it up, they would be appalled. But not with black people. So
No,
hey,
we absolutely appalled. She need to get on up out of there. I'm just saying I need more information. Before I call people racist, I need more details. This and alone, I'm not gonna say you racist. Now, if she was writing the N word on them, or she's doing the mock auction like an auctioneer, like, hey, I'm taking $5 over here, $5 over here. Who wants the nigger over here? If she doing all that,
so your line is
She
the
get
N
she getting
word.
she getting the Crisco out and make him take the shirt off and put the muscles
right,
get the muscles out. Say like this dude can lift a lot of cotton right here.
right. Then I got a problem.
Yeah.
But in this one, I don't know. She could be, she may not be. Either
I'm gonna
way,
say that
get
she
her on
probably
up out of
auctioned.
here.
She was an auctioneer. I'm gonna say that she probably was trying to hype up the stock up in there. She had to say how this black dude was worth more money to try to get more. I think she was probably into it. She didn't just stand to the side.
We don't know. You assuming. I'm
I
not gonna
gotta
make that
assume. I'm
assumption.
taking it. Racist. All right. Speaking of racist, let's go to another racist story. Man, so many racist stories these days.
Right, and we're not even talking about the shooter in New Zealand
Oh
That
yeah,
racist story.
Yeah.
That's something else on its own.
that's a
Yeah.
depressing one.
I try to stay at least in this country. I can only deal with so many problems. Be
Right.
going to other countries taking their problems too. So if y'all have heard of it, the Utah Jazz NBA basketball team, they were having a home game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and there was a situation with a fan, a ticket holder there at the game. Apparently said some things to Russell Westbrook, and things got out of hand. Russell yelled back some stuff at him and told him he was gonna f him up,
And his
and
wife,
and his wife.
which is
you
which
know,
is
that's
wow.
that's real. That's real talk. If you tell somebody who beat your wife up too, he said he beat him up at the same time. And so the owner of the Jazz came out, and she had a very long, I guess, little presentation about the city not being racist and how it wouldn't be tolerated. So I don't know if y'all want to talk about the thing that happened itself that started all of this, or talk more about the owner's remarks.
Well, I mean, the thing that happened, well, you mentioned it, Russ kind of went off on the fan and his wife. Apparently, the fan told him, get back on your
Get down on your
knees
knees
like you
like you're
used
used to.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, get down on your knees like you used to. And Russ felt that was, first of all, a demeaning remark, but also he thought it had some racial connotations, which I believe it does. This guy tried to come out. He did an interview right after saying, "Oh, I never used any profanity. I never said anything. I told him he needs to go put the ice back on his knee. That's all I said." And then he just went off on me and my wife. Well, Utah Jazz security, they did some interviews with nearby fans. They got the video evidence, and the dude was lying. And of course, Twitter,
Oh yeah.
Black Twitter, actually all Twitters, wasn't even just Black Twitter, went to work. They found the dude's Facebook page, Twitter handle, found out he had been making racist comments specifically
Mm-hmm.
about Russell Westbrook for
Yeah,
the entire season, and just ignorant just in general, including dropping the N word.
yeah.
So he got outed. The Jazz booted him out. They banned him from Jazz games or from that arena for life. So the Jazz did the right thing, in my opinion. Paul, if you want to talk about the
Yeah. No.
owner and
Paul, do
else,
you think he would have said this to JJ Redick?
Man, like yes, I think he would have said something slick to him if JJ Redick was on the opposing team. Would it have been, I think it's a tough call whether like what he said was. I think I agree. It's 100% demeaning what he said. Do I think it's necessarily 100% racist? I'm not sure, but I can see how somebody could take it like as such, and so I'm not disagreeing with
dude,
Russell Westbrook on that, but. I do think Russell Westbrook did go a little too far with talking about he's gonna, hey, you want to that one dude up, but like I don't know what the wife was saying, but you ain't gotta say it. That was a little too much. But yeah, the dude, reading his Twitter comments and stuff like that, dude's just nasty. I mean, and what's Utah to do, man? I mean, like there's black players on the team. If they want to have a good team, they got to have black players. But there's no black people that live in the city really to speak of, except for the mailman who's out there trying to look, he's trying to hit on Kobe's wife and every other 14-year-old girl out there in Utah. So you got to watch out for
It's gonna
him
be 14, man.
because Carl the mailman Malone knocked up like a 14-year-old girl when he was like in
Did
college,
he for
man.
real? Oh
I
yeah,
told you this.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, man. The
So he
mailman is
was been like
nasty.
18, man.
That's why the mailman lived out there, man. Because in Utah, they keep their dirt on the
Ain't no
low, man.
ropes. Yeah, ain't
I
no
think
ropes.
he even up out of Utah now. But
But anyway,
when I
so
talked about before, like you have to, I said in the previous story, I don't know this person, this lady, this teacher, her history. We know this dude's history. We
word,
see
yeah.
that he's racist. So how can you look at that
No,
information
I
and
don't.
look at what he said and say, I'm not really
Mm.
sure
No.
that's
Good
I
point.
racist?
Good point, Paul. Like he got you in the corner. Where you
no, no.
how you
I
gonna get out?
agree. I agree that he like his comments in the Twitter is racist. Like, but in that moment, just Russell Westbrook hearing that comment, by itself, he didn't have the benefit of the Twitter history. Which okay, once you get all that, like it opens Pandora's box and you see like what this dude's about. That
I thought
comment, like
Russ said.
if I heard that
I
comment,
thought
like
Russ said he said more stuff than that though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
well, I don't know what.
you know
Only thing
he
that is
had to say more than that. If you got that history behind you, you know
Yeah.
that's not the only thing you said.
And
And
yeah,
people
I
it's
don't.
say
like,
all the time that people in Utah say stuff like that. A lot of players have said Utah's pretty racist.
Oh yeah, no.
So this ain't
Utah's
the
player
first time.
said that.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell and what's the center's name?
Cephalosha. I mean, not
No, it
No,
Cephalosha.
the
says
center,
center.
man.
Start
Gobert.
with G.
Yeah,
Go.
Rudy Gobert. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert. They both said the fans here, certain fans,
Oh
are
wow.
out
Yeah.
of pocket, you know,
Right.
and we shouldn't stand for this. So everybody's still with Russ. Russ got a little fine. I think it was like 15,000. But like I said, the fan got banned. He was trying to delete the tweets, of course, but it's too late. Once on the internet, it's out there.
Yeah.
So get your racist butt on. I do feel like the owner, as the owner, you have to come out and say our fans aren't racist. Even if you got a lot of racist fans, you can't be the owner of
No,
the
you
team
don't have
and
to.
be like, "Oh yes, all of our fans are racist." No, you
Oh no,
can't say
not that. But what you could say is we're not going to tolerate racism in our stadium,
But that's what she
which
did.
she
no, and
never.
that's what you
She
said.
she did do that.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear that we don't have a racist community stuff because everybody's saying that you do. So just say
But
you won't tolerate it and go from there, one step at a time. You got a lot to prove before you can say you don't have a racist community.
Well, also unreported was that I mean, like once they did this, and but I guess they found like another dude that had said some more stuff like a few months ago or something like that, and I guess they banned that dude for life. That he did, but it was I guess they just kind of said, hey, we know there's another person we've been investigating. They just go ahead and kick them out too. So they kicked like a second dude out. I didn't
Hey,
catch his
how
name.
that happened? That's weird.
I mean, I guess they're trying to.
That's messed up. That dude said something, and now you get retroactively kicked out of all the games. But
Well, I don't know if they were investigating anyway, but they just finally, I guess maybe they just finally closed their case and said, okay, hey, let's get him out of here too, or maybe somebody sent them
They
a
was
bunch of
probably
tweets.
looking. They was probably looking
Probably
at the
somebody sent them.
video.
No,
They was
probably what
looking at the
happened is that
video, and he said,
probably what happened is they sent him a bunch of like they sent the Jazz like a bunch of screenshots of like that dude's Twitter like it's stuff he got like maybe a suspension or like banned for a few games, and then they let him back in, and then somebody sent him all the Twitter stuff that he'd been saying like in the meantime, and he's like, oh, we got to get this dude up out of here. That's probably what really happened. I don't know, but anyway.
so many people saying the N word. They just saw it on video. I was like, man, get him too.
But it's tough, man, for Utah. I mean, they actually got a decent team right now, but man, it's just hard for them to get free agents, man. I mean, not only maybe it's not a fun city, but there's just if you're a minority, it's got to be difficult playing there. I guess if they support you if you're on their team, but it's got to be tough, man. So I mean, what's the owner to do? She's got to come out there and say this stuff.
Right.
Hopefully it changes, but I don't know, man. When you get that alcohol mixed in with excitement of the game, and people are gonna say dumb stuff, man. Occasionally, it's just how it goes, man.
Now here's my thought, or here's my question for you both, because as I'm sitting here analyzing this whole situation, and I'm thinking about let me think if I was a troll. Let me get in the mindset of a troll. So I'm heckling NBA players. I go to games. I like to talk trash. If I'm gonna target an NBA player to heckle, who am I gonna target? Because I'm gonna tell you one person that I'm not gonna target. That's Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook come down and dunk like he trying to tear the whole rim off the goal. Russell
Right.
Westbrook plays with the most intensity I've ever seen in a basketball player, just relentless. Like Russell Westbrook looked like he could tear somebody up.
Yeah, he
If
looks like
I'm
he's made out of just nothing but pure fast twitch muscles. Like there's
right,
no slow
exactly.
twitch
Yeah, he got
muscles.
muscles
seems
in
like
his face.
Yeah, that's a no-win situation against Russ. He's not the biggest NBA player, but Russ looked like he can get down.
But
So
when you sitting on that like third row, and you know how you at a game and like you're on that third row, you're just a little
You just
bit
don't know. When we
elevated.
went to the game, he sat up in the nosebleeds. Remember,
Okay, but
he was too cheap to pay for the
just
seats.
picture, if you will, is you're up on that third row, so you're a little bit elevated, and so you're looking at Russell Westbrook. And he looks short compared to all the dudes in the court, and then plus you're like 3 rows up, so you think you tall
yes.
compared to him. So you're like, oh, that dude ain't that big from a
Right,
distance.
but I've seen the highlight footage. I've been watching Russ for years. I done seen that
But then you
intensity
get,
from him. If
but
I'm picking somebody, maybe Brandon Ingram. Now he's tall, but he's kind of wiry. He don't really sit like I feel like all right, I can get with Brandon Ingram. Or I'm gonna pick a soft dude. I'm not gonna pick the most intense dude in the whole entire NBA.
Yo,
but
you ain't finna pick
when you
Bi.
cook
You
up
ain't finna pick Bi. He ain't playing.
But
I'm
when
gonna
you
pick
cook up a
BI.
little meth before you get to the game, and then you hit up you hit about 3 or 4 of those 12.95
The
Budweisers,
Bud
you
Ice.
right, yeah,
Right.
you ain't thinking straight, man. So you're like, oh, I think I can kick Russell Westbrook ass, but it's not gonna happen.
Right.
It's
So
not.
so real question though. So Paul, who you targeting? If you gotta heckle one dude where you feel like even if it goes left, I'm good, who are you picking?
I want Boban. Give me Boban, man. If I'm gonna go
Oh,
big, I'm gonna give me Boban. I'm gonna give you. Look, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. All 7'7" of him gonna fold up like a cheap suit as soon as I.
that's a L, bro. Boban got way too much reach. That's a L for you. What about
Look,
you, Ryan?
if I can
I'll
just
wait.
sneak up on him and like just hit him, get him in a pressure point, or somewhere like that, and then run before he use those long arms on me. But yeah,
You
let me
can't
give
even
me
hit him.
Boban.
You're gonna hit him like in the belly button. That's as high as you're gonna reach.
Look, man, I'm not, Boban is big and stuff like that, but again, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. I saw like a Carolina Panther dude. Did you see that guy, that lineman down in South Carolina? He got in a fight outside of a bar with like two regular dudes, and he got knocked KO'd straight
Yeah.
out. So the bigger they are, the harder they fall, man. I think Boban. I can find a soft spot, get in there, do some damage, get up out before he puts the paws on me. That's who I want. What about you,
All
Ryan?
right. What about you, Ryan?
First, I was thinking, I was like, maybe I'll go for like Alex Caruso, backup point guard, G League member for the Lakers. But then I was
You
like,
say,
nah, that dude's he's still like 6'4", 6'5". So I'm not gonna chance it.
Yeah,
I'm
any
gonna go
G League
with
dude is a dog too. Any G League
probably,
dude that
yeah,
done
yeah,
came up to the league,
yeah.
oh,
He
they
ain't
a
playing.
dog.
Yeah, because they be trying to go at him every time he got the ball or he defending them, and he ain't backing down. So I ain't messing with him.
Yeah, don't fight
But
no dudes that been in the G League. They got nothing to lose, bro.
who I am gonna maybe go after, DJ Augustine.
ooh.
DJ Augustine seems like a nice guy. He also seems like he gets pushed around a lot by the league. They just trade him. They trade him here, trade him there, trade him here. He never has anything to say. He seemed a little soft. Think I might be able to punk DJ Augustine.
All right, all right.
Ish, all I gotta say, if you say JJ Barea, we fighting on site. That's all
No, I
all
ain't
I'm
You can't
fighting
saying.
mess with
JJ.
JJ.
Hey,
Don't
He'll
JJ
fight you.
don't
chippy.
you don't
Yeah,
even think
JJ
about it.
chippy, bro.
Don't
I ain't
hey
messing with
don't.
JJ.
All right. I'm letting you know.
So I
You
said
from
I
Argentina?
already said Bi. I'm taking Ingram or I'm taking Frank
But
Nicolina from the Knicks.
nobody said Thon Maker. Nobody said Thon Maker in this whole thing. Okay.
Nope.
Have you seen Thon Maker fight? I saw him fight. He threw some blows at least. You don't want to
Right.
mess with
Hey,
Thon because
he
you know
tried
he
to
gonna fight.
drop kick. Remember, he was kicking the people
Yeah,
in
he did.
like the Olympics, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't want some big old 7-footer kicking at you, man. No. Roundhouse? Nope. Roundhouse to the face.
I still say I hit Boban one time in that big old nose of his, man. It's over, man.
Boban
Uh,
probably got a mean streak though, man. He a happy dude, but he probably
right.
got a mean streak.
Got to,
Right.
man.
Too,
All right.
dude. I saw something like one of those Instagram Chris Johnson or something mixtape. Boban kind of ripped. I was like, dang, he just looked like one of those weird, awkward, tall dudes in the jersey. But no, I think Boban. I think that's a one punch KO on you, Paul.
Probably.
They said Boban's parents both like 5'5", like 5'5" and like 5'8" or something like that. His parent like there's no way he should be that tall. So he's got to have something wrong with him. He's gonna die soon, and so all I gotta do is just hit him one time in the solar plexus. I'm good, man. That's what I think. Boban, I don't want the smoke, man. Don't come and look for me. Next time you play the Bobcats.
Boban don't want that smoke.
That's all right.
That might be the title.
All right, man. Let's move on to the next topic, man.
All right, Paul, shoot.
This story came out late last. This actually broke late last night. I didn't put a video in the group chat, but so this comedian Jess Hilarious. If you haven't heard of her, she's on the new Little Rel show. I guess and I guess she's kind of known for being like a online comedian as well. So she was flying on a plane or getting ready to get on a plane yesterday, and I guess there were like four Sikhs on there. Do you guys know what Sikhs are, right?
I know what a
Both of
Sheik
y'all?
is. I don't know what a Sikh is.
So a Sikh is like it's an Indian person, but the men in particular, like the women, I think they just wear regular clothes, but the men they all if they're a Sikh follower, they always wear like a turban. It's like a wrap, kind of like a head
So
wrap.
dot not feather.
Dot, yeah, right. That's right.
Okay.
Dot, not feather.
Okay.
And then so the dudes always have real long beards. I guess they can't cut their beards, so they have real long beards, and they always have their hair like real long, and it's always wrapped up underneath like a. It kind of looks like
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
Outcast, like Andre wore in the AT Aliens uh, record, like a little thing like that. And so they're not Muslim. They're some kind of like Indian Buddhist is kind of like an Eastern religion. Anyway,
Mhm.
so the four dudes on the plane, but they always get confused for Muslims. And so this comedian was on the plane. She's a black comedian, And she basically starts, because these people are on the plane. I don't really know what transpired. It doesn't sound like anything transpired, but she just didn't feel comfortable because they were on the plane. And so she's kind of got a loud mouth, and so she decided to raise hell until they got kicked off the plane. And I guess the airline agreed with her and kicked them off the plane. And so she was making like videos of them, like laughing, get them off here, get them off here. And then of course the inevitable Twitter backlash occurred afterwards, and kind of called her out for kind of racism. And so she was trying to defend herself. Oh, I didn't feel comfortable. I don't care what you all say. I didn't feel comfortable, with them on the plane, blah blah. And so she was like that's my right, blah blah. And so, what do y'all think about this, man? Was she in the right to get him off there if she didn't feel comfortable? Should she have taken a different flight?
No, I feel like if and first let me say I'm a fan of Jess Hilarious. Like I like her. She's one of these Facebook, Instagram comedians that just kind of blew up on social media, just doing little funny skits, and now she's actually got like a real comedy career. So I'm a fan of her as a comedian, but I think this is ridiculous. If you're uncomfortable by them on the plane, get off the plane. Why are you kicking them off the plane? If they haven't done anything to make you nervous, if they haven't done anything to insinuate that there's going to be any type of violence, any type of altercation, any type of unsafe activity on the plane, if you don't feel comfortable, it's easy for you to get off and go catch the next plane or hop on a train or rent a car, do whatever you got to do. And the thing that made me even more angry was when you talked about she kind of doubled down on it. When people came to
Yeah.
her on social media and said, look, this is ridiculous, especially as a person of color, because how many times as a black person, or Paul as a Hispanic member, are you somewhere, whether it's on a plane or a bus or just walking down the street, and some lady clutches their purse a little closer, or somebody locks their doors when you walking past, and that makes you feel a certain kind of way. So as a person of color, to do that to other people of color, like it's just ignorant. And then when people point that out, for you to be like, well, I don't care, I felt uncomfortable, so I did what I had to do. Like, nah, you got to get out of here with that. So
Yeah.
not a fan of that whatsoever. um yeah, I'm a chill on Just Hilarious. I feel like you can't just cancel people completely. Like now when somebody does something, everybody's like, oh, you out of here, we canceling you. So
Right.
can't
They
say I'm
tripping.
never gonna watch Just Hilarious again, but for right now I'm cool on her because that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
What about you,
I,
Brian?
I am gonna say that number one, never knew who this chick was. Never seen her in my life. I don't know who she is.
You never
First
seen
time
her
I'm
on
never
Facebook?
seen her.
People
Never.
share her videos all the time, bro.
No, I've never
That's
seen
crazy.
her. And so yeah, so I have no skin in this game. But outside of my black skin. And I feel bad because we know that we finna get the repercussions of this because the people in power have been waiting to get a chance to come back at us black people for us canceling everybody. So we gotta we
You gotta
can't afford
sacrifice
this.
somebody.
Yeah, we can't afford this. We don't want this happening. We need to give her up as soon as possible. Whatever they want, just tie her up and leave her there as an offering to the great white gods and
Yeah.
just keep it moving, man, and hope that they don't look back again because you know how the news is. Once they get the scent of something, they're gonna start chasing it like they do all the other racist stories. They're gonna try to find every black person that's ever done anything like this, and then we'll look bad,
I
and we
don't
can't
think
afford
so.
to look bad.
I don't think that's gonna happen in this
I don't think this
situation.
is normal though. So
And the reason that's not gonna happen in this situation is because the person you got in the White House has said and done a lot worse things to Muslim individuals. Now, again, Sikhs, they aren't Muslim, but that's what she mistook them for. So the far right ain't gonna go too hard because you're opening yourself up for criticism coming back. So they're going to smack her a little bit. And a lot of times you give comedians a little more light. Like comedians, you can you could say a little more offensive stuff and get away with it. Especially back in the day, 90s, 2000s.
Oh yeah,
Like those
anything.
comedians, you say whatever you want. Now it's a
Now it's a little
different
different.
game, but I still think you get a little bit of leeway. But yeah, the far right, they're not going to go too hard because I mean the president is sitting up here right now to me, oh, white supremacy isn't really a problem, and saying stuff against Muslims. So no, just we don't even have to sacrifice her. I think she would be worth sacrificing, but they're not coming for her that hard. And no, with Trump in there, no, I'm not having it.
If I can just get one last joke off, the funny thing about this was like when she was posting her videos, talking about getting them off the plane. So when she's doing this, she has a head wrap on. I guess she had woke up that morning, maybe it was early morning flight, so she had like a scarf on her head,
Right.
and basically her whole thing of getting these dudes off the planes because they had head wraps on their head.
Exactly.
And that is like hysterical to me because well, not hysterical, but it's just ironic. Like, hey, you're a person of color, they're a person of color. They got something that looks funny on their head to a lot of people. You got something that looks funny on your head to a lot of people. They just have to wear part of religion. You just want to do it because you don't feel like doing your hair this morning, or you just want to keep it looking nice till you do go somewhere where you want to take it down.
What is the airline's response to why they kicked them off the plane?
And that actually I haven't heard that part yet, man. That's a good question.
I mean, that's important to me. Is that you shouldn't just be allowed to make a big deal out of something and then some people get kicked off a plane.
That's
like, what did they do?
But I've heard that happen plenty of time, man. If a couple other people kind of say something, man, it can turn out against them. And if you got a white flight attendant, a couple white flight attendants, who's they gonna take? Whose side are they gonna take, man?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or it's four men with turbans on, and this black lady sitting there raising hell, and maybe some other passengers they feel the same way, and then they gang up on those four dudes, and hey, you out of here, man. And
oh yeah, as soon as Jess opened her mouth, it was some white people jumped in there too. Like, oh yeah,
I was
gonna say the same thing.
Get them out of here.
Didn't really want to go there.
I was just calling the police.
I was waiting for I was waiting for her to say it.
Right.
I couldn't wait.
Okay, good point.
All right, man. Let's finish it out, man. Let's go. Let's finish it strong, Ryan.
We've been on here a while, man. Y'all want to skip this last one? We can.
You want to skip it? Go ahead and skip it, man.
What is
skip
the last?
It, man.
Oh.
We've been in this.
This story. Oh yeah, please skip this one. This one's.
Yeah, it was.
This story was funny, but it's.
All right, let's just talk. Let's go back to hoop, man. Ryan, can we get an update?
Man, don't talk about no basketball, man.
Have you felt? Are you sadder now than you were last week about your Lakers?
I haven't looked at anything Lakers. I turned my league pass off. I was paying the little 28 whatever a month, and I turned it off because there's nothing else for me to watch, man. I can't keep watching LeBron out here half playing. And once they said BI was out, he was the only reason why I was watching the Lakers. Lonzo ain't playing, so I'm done. We'll see what happens next year. It's probably gonna be a different team, so I'll probably be a Pelicans fan. I might just ride with Brandon Ingram. He had successful surgery, so he's good to go.
Man, that dude, you gonna take a dude that Ish thinks he could knock out with the one hit?
Ish is sadly mistaken because BI did not hesitate to steal on Chris Paul.
Yeah, but he looked like Big Bird when he was throwing the hands, man. He didn't make no connections.
He's still in the NBA.
Yeah, he ran up. I think he would be down to scrap. I just don't think he's not hurting nobody with that.
And he got full strength. He got the reach.
Yeah, but he don't got no power, man. That dude is like 6'9", 160, bro. He got no power.
That dude's 22 years old and got like old man like a blood clot. Man. Shut up, man. This dude ain't doing nothing.
He going to the rack
trash.
What was his injury, Ryan?
He had a blood clot.
Okay, I thought. Well, I won't joke on that. I thought it was something different.
No.
So, well, shout out to BI. I won't fight him. He had a blood clot. I won't fight BI. So, get well soon.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so let's flip. Let's just one last thing. Okay, so let's flip this. Who in the NBA would you least want to fight? Because I know who that is. Who would you least want to scrap with in the NBA?
Well, since go first to give us some time.
Look, man, hey, it's 100% Patrick Beverly. I don't want no parts of Patrick Beverly because he's gonna take it serious. He's gonna grab something and make a weapon out of it and shank you with it. He don't care, man. That dude, he's from Chicago too. He gonna fight you like with some lugs on. So he'll be wearing those old ass like lugs that nobody's worn since 1995, and beat you with those and stomp you out with those. And a dirty wife beater on, man. I know that's what he would do. So I want no parts of Patrick Beverly, pound for pound. He's the dude I'm most scared of. What about y'all?
I don't know, man. My mama ain't raised no punk. So when I look at dudes, I don't really just be scared like that. So I've never thought about it.
Oh
I
man,
don't
come
know
on,
about you.
Zebo. You ain't scared of Zebo? Come on, give me something.
No, no, man. He's a nice guy. He can make a good mean face. He was always a nice guy.
Make a good mean face.
Hey, that's all you need to do sometimes, man. Just make a good mean face, and people think you can scrap. None of these dudes have ever had a fight, man. They don't have to because they
No,
always
this is
been
not.
big.
This is not. Man, come
Well,
on now. Zebo literally choked out Blake. Come on, man. What are you talking about?
well, like I said, number one, Russell Westbrook would be a guy that I'm definitely not trying to scrap with. Mentioned all those reasons before. And I think a second guy is probably going to be a teammate of Russell Westbrook. That's going to be Mr. Steven Adams.
Ooh.
Steven Adams looked like he's just a hard dude. I don't know if y'all remember the play where he like went up and pump faked, and I forget who it was that tried to block the shot and went over his back, and he just caught the dude with one arm and like set him on the ground basically so he wouldn't break his neck.
Yeah, I saw
Like if
that.
you got the strength to just
That
catch
dude's
a
strong
dude
as a
with your
mug.
left hand
Yeah,
and
he's strong
Word.
as
gently
a mug.
set him on the ground, I don't want no parts of that. So Steven Adams, Russell Westbrook, the whole Oklahoma City Thunder, y'all get a pass from me. Y'all can say something slick. I'm gonna look at you, but I'm gonna give you a pass.
I should have said the dude that I would fight in the NBA or talks trash to would be Zubats. Zubats just seemed like a really nice kid. he probably carried everybody's bags. He bringing donuts, and he been in the league for 4 years. They just keep making him do that rookie stuff. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Ish. I probably would say Russell Westbrook too, because man, that dude is surly, man. It's like if you are a reporter, you can't ask him no questions, and I'd be wondering like why they take his crap. But I wouldn't want to mess with him either.
Right. Russ
So I'm gonna
just
have to
looked
go
like
with
he
Russ,
always
man.
ready to steal
He
on you.
always
Like
angry, man. Like,
any
dude,
given
I couldn't
Y'all
even
time.
crack a
tripping.
joke with you, man. You
Look,
look so serious.
Patrick Beverly ain't even scared of Russell Westbrook. So like that's how I know Patrick Beverly's the dude you do not want to match. That's pound for pound the most dangerous man in the NBA right
I
there
don't think
for
so.
sure.
I think Beverly. I
He
mean,
just got to sleep with
Beverly's
Ish.
chippy.
Yeah,
He likes to he likes to annoy people,
right.
but I don't know if he could really fight for real. I'm gonna tell you, if them two fight, I'm taking Westbrook all day.
Yeah, I'll take Russ too.
He done broke Westbrook's leg like one time, right? So you know what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
but that's because he ran up under him like that.
Right. He just
You're not
do
supposed to be doing that in
weak stuff
basketball,
like
man.
that.
That's weak.
Right.
He dirty. That's what I'm saying. He ain't gonna fight fair. He ain't gonna fight fair, man. He gonna hit you with a
It don't
trash
matter
can
because the
Yeah,
lid.
fight
that's
the
true.
fight's gonna be over quickly if he fight Westbrook. I guarantee
That's
it.
true.
All right, we need to see this. You heard it here first. Russ and Beverly, get it on in the playoffs. Let's see it. Because they probably scheduled to meet each other sometime here soon, right? Well, let's see. I gotta look at the seeds lately,
Beverly
but
play for now the Clippers.
he's on the Clippers. Yeah,
Still on the Clippers.
Clippers in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. There was 9 last time I saw.
I think
Nine
yeah
or
they.
10.
Oh, I'm fighting Austin Rivers too.
No.
Hey, Austin Rivers been fighting all his life. I guarantee he been fighting all his life. So that's probably not the dude you
No,
oh
want to
yeah,
scrap
Austin.
with.
and
Man,
his
come on,
dad
Austin
is a
Rivers.
coach.
Austin Rivers went
Yeah,
to
but
that
he probably
school.
always been fighting though.
No.
Austin Rivers went to that same school we just had this story on earlier, man. Where they
He
had
got he
all
got he got the beige rage going on. You
the
don't want to
bait.
fight him just because of that. And then his dad is a coach. They think that's the only reason why he in the NBA. Only reason why he went to Duke. Only reason why he played in high school. Like he been doing this his whole life, man. I guarantee he done knotted up a few cats.
Nah. Nah. Eddie got him out of it.
That's just that light skinned dude disrespectful.
Exactly.
So I agree with you. Part of me is saying yes, but I'm also giving
See
him the credit.
colorism right there. Colorism right there, brother. That's colorism.
So
Terrible.
anyway, let's go ahead and take this home. So we appreciate y'all for listening in. What is this episode? What 54? Again, Ryan. Episode 54. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you want to check out the Black Delegates podcast on social media, we are on Instagram and Twitter at Black Delegates. There's an underscore between Black and Delegates. You want to follow the Black Ryan, who's not really on Twitter. He's at the Black Ryan. Boxed Wine Poppy at Boxed Wine Poppy. You want to follow me? I'm on Twitter or Instagram at Ish Creates. That's ISH Creates. Let us know who you want to fight in the NBA or who you would avoid fighting. Shoot us an email at theblackdelegatespod@gmail.com. Paul, people want to help us out, want to help us blow up the numbers or take the podcast to the next level. What can they do?
Well, you can always rate and review us or tell a friend. But what we would really want you to do this week is send money to my Cash App so I can pay off these taxes. That's what I really need. That's a callback for you, fellas.
Tax relief. Tax relief.
Word, yeah. We need the stimulus package for myself. So let's get that going. What else we got here, guys?
Any last words, Ryan?
That's pretty much it. Last words. I guess I'm gonna say to the listeners, if y'all, I don't really be on Twitter like that, but if y'all want to converse back and forth, I will definitely answer my Twitter. It's still on. I still get messages. You know, I just don't be on there talking like that because I don't want to read a bunch of words. I don't want to read a bunch of words. Send me some pictures, something.
Oh, okay. You want some? You want some pictures? I got you. I got you. I got you.
Not the type of pictures Paul wants.
Ryan got like he's got an audio app to convert his tweets to audio. I bet.
Oh, that's a fact. You don't use the Google Voice?
No, not for Twitter.
Not Google Voice everything. Okay, Google, time to end this show. Boom. It's gonna say thank you. Ending the show. See, it's talking right now. See y'all next week.
Silly peace.
You really don't use the Google Voice?